Yo, welcome to another episode of the Slide Thru podcast. My name is Miggy. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, hit the notification bell. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Slide Thru Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Slide Thru Podcast 831. Tap in with all that. Make sure you tap in with definitellyeating.com for all the merchandise. Tap in with Monterey Bay Creations to get your merchandise done.
You dream it, we create it.
Yeah, dream it, we create it. Shout out to the Fish House located in Watsonville. If you're ever out there in the area, make sure you stop by and get you some. Also, shout out to conglomeratebythesea.com. That's where you can check out the latest episodes, and they also got some dope merch right there. And so none less to it. You already know. Let's just get straight to it.
Exactly. It's a special one.
Yes, man. This is
a very special one.
This is an emergency one. It's emergency facts. We're just gonna say how it is. If it was anybody else, we'd be like, nah, they gotta wait. They gotta wait. But listen, man, this is someone.
I forgot. My bad.
No, you good.
No, you
It's a
good,
pleasure.
man. Yeah.
I'm just glad we were all able to make it, last minute.
Right. Yeah. Listen, I don't even know what to say, how to start this, because this is days notice. I'm just, this is truly
hours
like
notice.
For real,
This is off an hours notice.
Yeah.
He really did. He said, "Who can make it today at 5?"
He literally said we shoot on Tuesdays. Let me know when you're here on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I hit him on a Sunday night.
The Lord's
That's
Day.
dedication.
The Lord
That
of
is
the day,
dedication
man.
during the fight. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But nonetheless, listen, man.
So keep in mind, Slide Thru Podcast does it for you people.
Exactly.
Listen, man. This man next to me does not need any self-explanation. He doesn't really have to introduce himself. This guy is a mogul. This guy is like our Diddy. This guy, you know what I mean?
He was a legend till today. I've heard about him, but they didn't know who he was till today, man.
The man, the
It was
myth,
the
the legend.
myth.
Yeah.
Right, like as soon as I started rapping around town and getting around, you just hear, "Oh, bro, Stretch. You got to link. Hey, I just linked up with Stretch. Hey, Stretch has heard me. Like, hey, like it's like, damn, like, how we gonna get there? How we gonna, like."
Yeah.
And for me, it's real regular because you grow up and if you don't know somebody, you might grow up with their brother, cousin, or whatever. So it's a small community. So everybody kind of knows each other. So I think that sometimes I look at it different because, like, I've never changed my phone number. I've had the same phone number for over 20 years. So
Tell me why we noticed that. We were looking at the messages. We seen him like, hey, it's dope that he still has an 831 number straight up.
Keep it OG. Keep it OG.
little tidbit. That number is the number that was on all the Thiz Nation CDs. So if you look at the CDs, like the number to call is that number.
Wow.
But that's dope,
Don't call it though. That's just
Don't bug the line. You're gonna make him change the number. You're gonna make him change it.
Is that you heard it here first?
But listen, sir, if you want to give an intro for yourself, please.
Who is
if you
Stretch,
want-
man?
yeah,
Who's
if you
Stretch?
want.
Let the people know.
Stretch is just a man that was born and raised in Seaside, California that happens to be in the music industry.
Hey.
How did the name Stretch come about?
Actually, I think it was him or somebody. There was a dude named Stretch at the liquor store.
Right.
Everybody from Seaside knows Stretch from the liquor store. So it started off as a joke, you know what I'm saying? Like, you look like Stretch. Well, I don't really look like him, but it was
It's just a
because I
little
was
joke.
tall.
That was
So it
that
was
thing,
like,
yeah.
I did not go by Stretch. I didn't like Stretch, but it was one of those you couldn't dodge it. Because before I went by people would call me Nitty, but like some people still do, but Stretch was not by choice. It was like eventually.
It just stuck.
Yeah, my name is Chioke, so it got to the point where trying to say your name and people fucking it up, you're just whatever. So
Chioke?
Chioke.
Okay. That's very unique.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
different.
exactly.
Yeah.
So your name gets fucked up so much, you just end up going by
Taking a
something.
nickname and shit.
You're just going by whatever people are calling you. Like,
Take
fuck.
it and run with it, man.
Gotta take it by default eventually.
It was Bishop at one point. And then it was Nitty. Then Stretch just never went nowhere.
Okay. So you tried to change the name, or it was kind of just?
Well, like with a real nickname, you don't choose it. I never chose Bishop for show. Never chose Bishop. I never chose Nitty, and I never chose Stretch. But at some point, you give in.
It just kind of grew into you.
Yeah.
This is what people are calling me. They're not going to change their minds no matter what.
Yeah, and nicknames go through phases in your life of where you at. Because like you might hang with these people, so that ends up, and then that's how come the name kind of switches. But Stretch, that's the name you've had for so long. It's like shit.
So different people would know you with different names, type shit.
Nah, everybody knows me as Stretch now, unless like people
I'm
from
talking about like
school
back
and
in the
stuff.
day. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't really like back in the day because it would be like. So, like, everybody will call you by your name. Then it'd be like your close friends might call you Bishop. You know what I'm saying? Then your close friends might call you Nitty.
Right.
And then Stretch was the one that just kind of, everybody kind of ended up calling me Stretch.
Yeah.
But then, like, people who've known my whole life, that's how you know when somebody wants to let you, oh, hi, Chi, okay?
I mean,
So
they
it's
even
like,
got
you
your
just want to let
name
you know,
on-
like, I know you. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. They even got your name on verses too.
Yeah.
Neff got your name on there. I think Stalin too, dude. Yeah, I remember seeing you on Stalin's first lyrical exercise video.
Yes.
You're in the whip, just chilling. He's right there, just rapping to you.
Yeah, I remember that day.
Yeah, man.
So I think a question
crazy.
I want to ask, man, is how did well, first of all, tell me about Stretch growing up in Seaside, man. Tell me about that.
It was real regular shit. I grew up in Seaside in a very interesting time, just because, you know what I'm saying, like, I'm 45, so I was born in 76. So, Seaside back then was really different. It was predominantly, it was almost all minorities. You know what I'm saying? Black, Hispanic, Vietnamese,
Pacific Islanders.
Not really. There was some Pacific Islanders, but we had a large Vietnamese, a large Vietnamese population. We had a pretty decent amount of Koreans, all because, you had the Vietnam War, you had the Korean War, and because of the military, because back then we had Fort Ord.
Yeah.
So
true. Yeah, so-
you had. It was, Seaside was a black city, but it was a lot of minorities. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of Mexican people. There was some like El Salvadorians, but it was predominantly, you know what I'm saying? It was predominantly, you know what I'm saying, Mexican. But like when I grew up, it was mostly black people. So like growing up, I didn't see a lot of white people. You know what I mean? Like I didn't grow up around a lot of white people. There'd be like a white boy in the neighborhood or whatever. But your friends are black, you know what I'm saying, Mexican or Vietnamese or Filipino, you know what I mean? So it was real diverse. And then I think that, so I think that gave me a real sense of how to interact with other people, just because I grew up in Seaside and I was exposed to so many other cultures. You go to your friend's house and he's Vietnamese, you know what I'm saying? So they're eating Vietnamese food. They literally have a Buddhist shrine, you know what I'm saying? Like all these things that are like different, that you didn't learn. So
My house don't look like this.
yeah, it doesn't look like this. You go to your Filipino up on the house, they're literally making, you know what I'm saying, lumpia and, you know what I'm saying, and like all these different foods, and you're hearing all these different languages. So you know what I'm saying, you learn, you know what I'm
Different
saying,
music,
about different cultures, about different people. So Seaside always, at first, it was a real, because even if you were, unless you were Mexican, you still lean towards what we call like black culture. So you had like black culture and you had Mexican culture, but everything was, kind of its own. Yeah. So like in elementary school, I went to Manzanita, and Manzanita was different back then, because Manzanita, we didn't have a cafeteria when I was there. We used to have to eat our lunch on the desk. Like it was like we used to get our lunch from King. But so like growing up, I remember being broke, but we were essentially poor, but I didn't know that, because in my, like, I was cool, like, you know what I'm saying?
I got what I need.
Yeah, like, no, we had like 3 bedrooms. Like when you look at it now, you'd be like, it was a 3-bedroom house, but it was like 900 square feet. But all you knew was like, we got 3 bedrooms, you know what I'm saying? Like, but not knowing, like, one of the bedrooms was converted from a garage, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know. I felt like when I was growing up, like, shit, I was one of the better off kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, things for me, I thought was, you know what I'm saying, good. So you don't realize until later, like, until I didn't realize until I got to like middle school, and then you start having friends in Monterey, in Pebble Beach, in Pacific Grove, and in Carmel, and you're like, whoa, this is different. You know what I mean? So
that's one of those things that I always found very unique, is the fact that, like, as close as we are, all it takes is just 5-minute drive somewhere to see how different everybody else is. You know?
My first culture shock, because I've always been like a really smart kid,
right?
But I think the times that I grew up in, it was challenging to be a smart kid and stay on track. But like I said, so I went to Manzanita, but back then they had like gate program and all these things. So I was really smart. Like I used to do math like at King. So by the time I got to 4th grade, there's a school, elementary school, La Mesa, and they had this test, and I didn't know what these tests were for. So I'm in the first day of 4th grade. My dad's like, "I'm taking you to school today." I'm like, "Nigga." My dad ain't never took me to school. Like, what are you taking me to school? I'm finna walk to, I'm finna take you to school today. He taking me to La Mesa, drop me off. And it was culture shock, because like I said, I went to Manzanita. It was a nigga school, you know what I'm saying? Like, in all intents and purposes, it was, you know what I'm saying? So I knew everybody, you know what I'm saying? You had some sort of relationship. So I go there, and it's like white people, like really like, not just the teachers, the kids are white. You know what I mean? They're playing rugby, not football. Like, you know what I'm saying? Fucked me
like
up.
that.
I'm like, this is different. We playing basketball or whatever. So that was like the first culture shock, and it seemed like it was. I remember going to school, and then after he took me the first day, he used to catch the bus, but from the projects, and they would take us this crazy ass back route. So I always thought this shit was so far.
Right.
I thought it was like. And I think they did that on purpose because the first time I really seen the school, that's where the juvenile court used to be. I was going to court as a juvenile for something, and then I remember taking a wrong turn or something like, this is La Mesa?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, so we could have just went down Fremont, got off on the highway, went by NPC and been there? No, nigga, they would take us the back road by 68. Come all the way back around, and I was like, bro, I think they didn't want us to know
How to get
where
there.
the school was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They picked us up from the project. It was really only 3 of us. It was me and Jamel. Jamel and somebody else, it was the only 3 black kids in the school. Now I lasted there about 2 months. I just couldn't deal with it. I ended up going, you know what I'm saying, back to Manzanita where I felt like I was at home.
Yeah.
Now, growing up, like we were talking about this earlier, like the 408 era. Was it 408 still when you was growing up, or
It was 408 till what, 93?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's a good year.
It was like, so that's the history of Seaside, and a lot of people don't realize of just even like Crips in general in Northern California stems from that 408 because Seaside has a large tradition of, you know what I'm saying, of people getting their name in prison. I've never been to prison, but it's like, so that's why I call myself Seaside Stretch, because being Stretch and I was doing so much in the Bay Area, people would think I was from the Bay. But there's been people, you know what I'm saying, from black people to Mexicans to even white people who've been in prison who literally stood by Seaside because it was separate from what everybody else was doing. So back there at 408, that's why you have like Crips in San Jose, Crips in Salinas, Crips in Seaside, because if you went to prison, if you're from up north, you would either be, back then it was only 415. 415 was San Francisco, EPA, Oakland, and all of that. So when you went to jail, you was from 408, you was from 415, or you was a Crip or a Blood.
Right.
So when we would go to jail, it's like, nah, we're from Seaside. You know what I'm saying? Because if you was a Crip and you went to prison, and some dude from LA, you're going to be the torpedo. Because like, look, oh, you're a Crip? Cool. You know what I'm saying? Go do this.
Yeah.
So early on, like when I was growing up, people from Seaside established, like, if you go to jail, you're from Seaside. You're not from this, you're not from that, you're from Seaside. So regardless of whatever, no matter what problems you have with each other, it was always like a unit of Seaside. People you might hate, but if you go out of town, you go to a concert, it doesn't matter. You go to a concert, we from Seaside.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We can fight when we get home.
Yeah,
when we here.
gotta watch each other's
Yeah,
back.
you guys united.
Yeah, you gotta support each other.
Okay.
Outside.
fuck
And that's
with
dope. That's dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We jumped the ball.
We were part of the fuck up.
It's all the politics.
Yeah, you have, I mean, I think to not repeat some of the shit that we went through, people have to be educated on actually what happened and how we got to the point to where we're at to try to, you know what I'm saying, change things to a better, I think.
Okay.
So most like an understanding of the past.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of these youngsters don't have a clue. They don't have literally a clue.
Guidance.
Like they don't know why they're beefing. They don't know what's going on. They don't know the original story
and the
type
funny
shit,
thing is,
right?
A lot of them don't know me for who I am. They might know me from the music because I can tell, like, you know, we all have some sort of affiliations or whatever, but like people will send me music and it'll literally be like disrespectful to people I might associate with. And I'm like, they don't even know. I'm not tripping off of that, but I'm like,
okay.
And to me, it'd be more like, you know, this doesn't make sense. Like, because I feel like a lot of the music that there's a lot of talent, but I think, you know, sometimes people are seeing what's happening in other areas, so they're mimicking some of this beef music and all of that, and they don't realize, like, it may seem like a quick way to get to a certain level, but it's also a very quick way to isolate yourself from
Okay.
and in Northern California,
Yeah.
there's probably a group of people who you don't want to isolate yourself from. I think you know what I'm talking about. And hopefully people understand and learn that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
For
true.
sure.
I remember we had Young Savvy here at some point, and he said the same thing. He was running around with the Northerners, and he said you can't enclose yourself in that because you close yourself to a certain crowd. If you really want to make it and go out somewhere else and be associated with different people, then you can be closed-minded and close yourself in that circle.
Bro, I was closed-minded for 30-some years. I'm 45 now, but like everything that I've done is in the last shit. 50, you know what I'm saying? Basically like
15, 20?
years, if that, you know what I'm saying? But for a long time, I wasted a lot of time, spent a lot of energy, you know what I'm saying, into the wrong things just because. I think for me it's different because I'm at an age where things that happen, there was no precedence for, so you can't expect people to say, hey, if you do this direction is going to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knew crack was going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nobody knew, like, Fort Ord was going to close. Nobody knew, like, all these things that just literally affected and changed the Seaside that I grew up in. These are things that, you know what I'm saying, are probably never going to happen again. And we was just talking earlier, just glad to be here to be able to even talk and just to be lucky to not have been to prison, not have been shot, not be on drugs or whatever. So
To still be alive and go ahead and tell your story. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. Much respect for that, man. Staying away from that's hard, especially when you're growing up around it, man.
I ain't quite stay away from it. I'm just saying. Through all of the bullshit.
Trials and tribulations.
Exactly.
Okay.
So how was your introduction to hip hop growing up in Seaside?
I remember the first thing I ever bought. I was in, I think it was 4th grade or 3rd grade. It was the Beastie Boys' License to Ill. I remember buying the vinyl and sneaking it because, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
You're not allowed.
I was one of those kids who bought a lot of music. I had like a connect. Me and my partner Vernon were like, we would go out and show who would have the most tapes and CDs and that. You know what I'm saying? He ended up whooping me because he ended up working at Music World.
Exactly.
We were neck and neck until he worked at Music World. Then he just.
No, that's the plug right there.
It was over after that. Like, I was getting shit from him, and I quit after. I was like, man, I'm just get what I need. Fuck with you on the obscure shit.
Yeah. Beastie Boys. Was anybody else like that kind of?
That was the first I bought. I remember that first thing I bought myself. Then after that, you know, I would buy. You know what I'm saying? I would always buy music, and you know, by then that was 86 or 85. So 85, I was 9. That was the first thing I bought. Then from that, it was like, you know, just a regular like Run DMC. Then you get into like the NWA era. Well, even during that, like Seaside Posse had a huge influence on us because that was the first time we like seeing people who you know, like these dudes you look up to as just like older dudes in the community. Like they literally have an album, like on the album cover, in the projects. Like you know what I'm saying? Like you see like people you know on the cover. Like that shit is like mind blowing. You know what I mean? Like that shit was incredible.
How old were you when Seaside Posse and that everything dropped? You know?
13 or 14.
Okay.
89 and 90.
So it was very influential. Like, damn, like
very influential. Because like
I still slap it to this day. Like it's crazy.
Like things are different now because like when we were growing up, if you like you didn't dress like a gangster if you weren't a gangster.
Exactly.
Like you just didn't dress like that. Like that was dumb. Like we looked crazy. We were, you know what I'm saying? Like we were the ignorant little kids. So to see somebody dress like us, look like us, and know that they doing what we aspire to do or what we do, to turn something into being on an album cover, that shit was crazy. Because as growing up, like you know what I mean? Like the only thing you looked up to was, you know what I'm saying, drug dealers and maybe athletes. But these are like people I know. Like I could talk to Scooter D. That's MC Scooter. That's not Scooter. That's MC Scooter D.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, nigga, what? You know what I'm saying? That was incredible to us. That was really big.
You think at a young age, seeing that kind of like put the battery in your back to go ahead and be like, you know what? I could probably go ahead and do something like this too. You know what I mean?
I had no interest in music until like 99 on a fluke. It wasn't like I didn't at that time. Like I'm 13, 14. You're just thinking about trying to make some money.
Exactly.
Trying to make some You, like and like I said, you got to keep in mind that's 80, 89. Like it was fucked up out here because it was just rampant with drugs. So like Seaside was like the hub of the Central Coast to buy your crack. You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit!
Like that?
Yeah, because we had the military. So this is what people forget. Back then you had Fort Ord. The main gate was on Broadway. You know what I'm saying? Then you had Defense Language Institute. Then you had the Navy Postgraduate School. So you had all of these influx of military people who liked to party. So like it was a lot of drugs that were sold. You know what I'm saying? It was a really booming place. So it's not like crack was something that we knew. It's like one day crack is there and there's a huge demand. And for the people my age, like luckily for me, it didn't happen to me, but my friends I'm watching now, their parents are on crack. So we were like a generation of kids who were raising themselves. You know what I'm saying? So like by the time we're 14, we have cars, we have all of this shit because, you know what I'm saying? Like me was different because my mom had she was a private nurse, so she'd be working for 24 hours, then she'd be home for 24 hours. So, you know, half the time, like, I can do whatever I want to, so I didn't have to really I could hide what I was doing, but these other kids, like their parents are smoking crack. There is no nothing to talk to. There is no why you coming in late or where'd you get that car or how'd you get that much money. It was none of that.
Yeah.
So for us, it was just like something happened. All of a sudden, like you go. It's not like we had any other experience. I was selling candy. You know what I'm saying? And then next thing you know, like, oh, it's another product you can sell and selling crack.
Shit, way more than candy, right?
Make more. You don't realize the repercussions for what it does to the community or what it can have on your life because this is just normal to you. You know what I'm saying? It's like normal to you. You're 13, 12, 13, you got $20, somebody give you a double up. Now you got $40 worth of crack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, you got $80. Then, you know what I'm saying?
Fast money.
A quarter ounce. And then like, oh.
The cycle repeats.
Yeah, the cycle repeats. And like I started selling drugs just on a fluke because, you know what I'm saying, I had an older cousin that was selling drugs. And they'd be crumb sacks. And I'm like, oh shit, I could probably sell this. You know what I'm saying? You end up selling it. You know what I mean? So,
Crazy.
Crazy, man.
So that being said, what was your introduction to the music industry then?
in the music industry, so around 99,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, artist by the name of Big Time. I knew his brother and his cousin. His brother
Was he local or was he from?
He's from Seaside, but Seaside by way of Memphis, but he's from Seaside.
Okay.
So at the time, you know, I don't know if I had my store then yet. I might have had my store. Whatever I was doing, I was making money. And he was like, "Look, man, I have this project I want to put out. I want to start this label, Seaside Entertainment, whoop, whoop, whoop." And he had a real plan. So I'm like, "Well, fuck it, I'm down." I didn't really look at it as like I'm going to start a label. I looked at it as like, shit, this is a legitimate way, you know what I'm saying, to make money.
Like
Right.
an investment?
Yeah, it was like an investment. But it was like, he's the one that was like, "Hey, we could do this." He showed me all of this shit. So I didn't know nothing. I was just a nigga in the hood, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, we could do this, that. Because he was one of those people that like, you know, read the books and do all of this. So he's doing all I know is like what I listen to. And I know how to make money from other shit I've done. So it's like, oh, it's really simple. You know what I'm saying? You buy a product, you know what I'm saying, for a certain price. You sell it, you know what I'm saying? You reinvest in that product. It seems easy. So that's how I got introduced to the music through him. And it was one of those things because like a lot of my friends were also rapping, but I really felt as if like when you're too close to a person and you're supposed to do business with them,
It gets tricky, yeah.
And it doesn't get tricky. It's like you don't have the same relationship when you want to talk about something because, like, if I feel like, hey, man, I'm putting this money up and it should be this way, then it could be a business conversation. But if it's your partner who you're going to be kicking it with later, then it gets weird.
Yeah.
So I early on, I was like, okay, I would invest in him because if it goes bad, if I lose all my money or whatever, I'm not losing a friendship. We end up becoming friends, but it's like, in the beginning, it's like, this is a business transaction, so there's, you know what I'm saying, there's nothing that can really go wrong or hurt a personal relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people do make mistakes. Like, you know, what I mean, you wanna work with the people that you like. You wanna create the same thing that you guys are passionate about. But that's the difficult process is to distinguish between the friendship and the business.
Yeah, 'cause I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Right,
so for me to act like I do and I'm gonna do it with a friend or something, then it can get all bad. Like I knew what I didn't know.
Yeah.
They didn't have to know.
Okay. So you mentioned the store, man. What was the store like?
I had a store called Urban Rags. It was on Fremont, right by
Fremont Echo. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
There used to be a video store right next to it. I forget the name of it.
Fremont Echo. That's what like the 7-Eleven and
right
all that.
Okay.
Okay.
So I had a clothing store. I can't remember the time frame if it was before or after. It might have been after. Now I think about it, 'cause I don't think I had a store. But matter of fact, the clothing store was after I did the Seaside Entertainment stuff.
Okay.
It was after, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Clothing store, like selling CDs and stuff like that.
Yeah, we would sell CDs. We would sell clothes. We were selling throwback jerseys. We were selling everything.
Yeah.
Shoes. Because I end up getting a hookup like in LA. You go to the garment district, you buy stuff. Then you might know somebody who might happen to come across some real jerseys. And sell those as well. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it was actually a partner of mine who had the idea, and it was another one of the things like, yeah, let's do it. And it kind of worked out. And then he decided he wanted to sell tires.
So that's where Stay Fly came from then.
Okay.
Okay. It makes all sense. Just circle back around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So talking about
Yeah,
Big Time,
small world.
would you consider that that's the first artist that you managed, or
No, I didn't even manage it. Like I was like we ran the label together, and honestly, you know what I'm saying, he's the one who had like figured all this stuff out. You know, I built relationships and learned some stuff from there, but through him, I started booking artists in, you know what I'm saying, in the area to try to get more attention to what we was doing. So that's how I started building relationships with artists in the Bay Area, because it's like, okay, I got this artist, we're trying to, you know what I'm saying, make it. We can't get no shows, and we'll throw the shows. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
started throwing shows because it was like, yeah, you can make some money, but also it was exposure for the artists, and also, you know, just for the area to try to make people like, yeah, I'm telling you, this would be a great place to, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I met most of the Bay Area artists at that time, from doing that.
And these were shows thrown locally here, or
Yeah, we do that. What's the place on Canada Road?
Gemini?
Like we was the first person to do like any hip hop shows in those places, because at the time the dude Anthony Lane, I forget how I met him, but you know what I'm saying, we ended up having a cool relationship, because I think the place was doing kind of bad, but people wanted to do rap shit, but they didn't want to because they was worried. It was
The crowd.
Yeah, Seaside had a reputation of fucking something up.
Yeah.
So it was like, look, I can make sure people don't fuck nothing up, because I respect people and people respect me. So, you know what I'm saying? I can recognize, like, that nigga's going to be in trouble. So I can talk to him beforehand. We can make sure, you know what I'm saying, nothing happens. So
you stay on this side?
that's why it ended up being a good relationship, because that was the first time you could have shows and nothing would
No
really
issues.
happen. Because there would be, like, slight tension between Seaside and Salinas at that time, but that, like, shows like that would be an issue. You know what I'm saying? So, like, by me being a part of it and understanding and having a relationship with everybody, you know what I'm saying? Not like I'm some super nigga, don't do that, but I can recognize, like, okay, that nigga tripping.
Right.
Let's buy him a drink, you know what I'm saying? Talk to him. Let's send a girl over here.
Yeah.
So just, you know, to recognize.
That's a skill in itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and only that, like, you know what I'm saying? And then
To prevent trouble.
Yeah,
and
what we used to do is eventually I'd be like, well, what's going to keep niggas from acting a fool? The police and probation officers. So we would have parole officers or probation officers at the venue.
Right.
If you see your parole officer, you
It's
on
like,
your
no, I'm
best
keeping it
behavior.
cool,
If you see
exactly.
your probation officer, you on your best behavior.
Hell yeah,
You ain't
bro.
doing
Exactly.
shit.
You might turn around and leave. Like,
Yeah, you can't even
Hell yeah,
you're
man.
only there to have a good, you ain't
Hell
on
yeah.
no bullshit. If you
Hell
see any
yeah.
of that,
exactly.
Hell yeah.
you straight. You know what
You
I'm
straight.
saying?
You're not even smoking a joint. You're like, nah, I ain't gonna risk it.
You come to party and try to talk to some females, and you just want to have a good time. So we did that. Then we would do stuff at like the fairgrounds, and then another venue, a couple venues. So we were doing a lot of the shows in the area. So that's how I built relationships with artists from outside of Seaside.
So pretty much, since you couldn't get your artist out there, you will bring the artist to here.
Exactly.
Okay.
So and
That's thinking
it's true,
outside the
you
box.
did bring Mac Dre out here.
Yes, that's how I actually met Mac Dre.
Yeah.
So,
Tell us that story, man. That's legendary.
Yeah.
That's
I
legendary.
want to know, how did meeting Mac Dre come before you brought him? Because it was the Bluefin, right?
Yeah.
So
No,
before
that
you
might
brought,
have been the second show. The Bluefin was
Okay.
the last show that he did.
that's the only
that
one I've
was-
seen on YouTube. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly. Because that was right before he passed. I was working with him at that time.
Okay.
But before, what was the first show? I can't remember.
Planet Gemini, you said?
Gemini.
It was Planet Gemini. As a matter of fact, yeah, it was Planet
June was
Gemini.
there. I think June was there.
June was there.
Yeah, but
He's underage.
I actually met Mac Dre on a flight coming from Vegas. So we
Okay.
was flying from Vegas, me and my partner Quincy, and we was it was a Southwest flight and had a layover in L.A. So he had got on the plane late with his daughter, and you know there's no assigned seats, so only seats left were middle seats. So he gets on the plane. My partner Quincy like, man, that looked like Mac Dre on dope because he was so skinny. You know what I'm saying? But we had heard a rumor he had died. We really didn't think it was
That
Mac
early
Dre.
on, for real?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
damn.
didn't really think it was him because he was skinnier than we thought. You know what I'm saying? So his daughter sits in between us, and she's sitting between us, and she's playing with a ring, and she drops it, and she's like, "Oh, my dad's gonna kill me. That's a real diamond ring." We're like, "Yeah, right." Like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Who's your guy? It's like Mac Dre. Like, Mac Dre's your dad. Yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? We're like, whatever. So then we have the layover in L.A. He's like, hey, can we switch so I can sit with my daughter? So he sit next to me. So when he sit next to me, we just start, you know what I'm saying, talking and chopping it up. This is 99. So This is right before he started this, because he had gave me the Cutthroat Committee album that was still working on.
Oh shit.
So from there, I booked him for a couple shows, and that's how, you know what I'm saying, the relationship started from there.
I'm speechless.
And how long did you work with him?
Sheesh.
From 99 till he
99
died.
till he
Yeah,
died.
till he
Wow.
died.
I mean, you gotta call that destiny, man.
Yeah.
Damn near.
You gotta call that destiny, man.
So damn, that's crazy because I thought you kind of like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and like I'm gonna reach out to Mac Dre. I'm gonna go ahead and see maybe if he can come do a show. But like
Nah,
no, like
I met
God put you both in the
I met
same
him on
flight.
the plane, and we ended up being hella cool. And then I was already doing shows like that, so it was like, yeah, gonna do this show. And then we had built a relationship from doing that. And then how it even grew more was, I would talk to him a lot, and he was like, man, you kind of know your shit. By this time, I had the store, and it was like, I want to start a distribution company because I don't want to. Basically, he was putting out his records and it was getting cross collateralized with the other stuff he was releasing. Because I always talked to him about like, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, because he didn't understand a lot of stuff. Because you know what I'm saying, he was
just an artist.
He was an artist, and
yeah.
he was get some money, do whatever he do. So eventually, he was like, man, I need you to come help me run this shit. And he had a studio in West Oakland, so I came in. We had got the studio going, and then we had started Thiz Nation, which was supposed to be the distribution hub of Thiz Entertainment. So that's how Thiz Nation even came about. Before he passed, it was supposed to be like, we're going to distribute, you know what I'm saying, all of these people in the Bay Area and Northern California, artists that he liked, to give them an outlet. So it was supposed to be like an outlet for all the artists, you know what I'm saying? So the first project we worked on was the Thiz Nation 1 and 2, while we was doing, like, it was the Mr. Fab album at that time, the Money Gang album, Bathgate album, all that shit was out the same studio in West Oakland that, you know what I'm saying, we was working on. There's a lot of Seaside artists that actually went to those sessions.
Yeah.
Can you name a few?
I can say Ace Steez because he ended up on records.
Shout out Ace Steez, man.
He
Sport
did
coach.
mention
Yeah,
that
but
too.
what's funny was because, like, I would say, like, but I guess to people, Oakland seemed hella far. But that's where the studio was. So I'd be like, man, we just got to go up here. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be worth it. Yeah.
No, Ace Steez was one of the few people that would go up there. You know what I'm saying? Ace Steez went up there. Matter of fact, Pete Ash did. Thru did. Who else? So I can think about the top of it. Because all those ended up being on projects.
So you think Mac Dre is probably one of the first major artists that you go ahead and started working with? Or?
Yeah, 100%.
Who's your next one after Mac?
Well, from, like I said, so
Thiz
I ended
Nation,
up,
bro.
Yeah, so Thiz Nation, so I
Everybody
did all
on
the
there.
Thiz
Everybody
Nation
on that
stuff.
motherfucker.
Yeah, like, so the whole Thiz Nation thing, so, like, everything was done out of my store in Seaside. Like, at first we were printing up the CDs ourselves. So we would print the CDs up, and because I was like, we'll just distribute everything ourselves, because we were trying to get away from the distributor at the time. So we would press up the CDs and we would sell them out of my store. You know what I'm saying? So I built like basically like a little packing place in the back. And then we would we would sell the CDs. We were selling the T-shirts when we ended up past all those T-shirts and shit. We was doing all the orders and everything from Seaside. That's why the number on the thing was my number, because we was doing all the shit from there. And a lot of people didn't even really. I mean, you know what I think it is? People knew, but they were probably like, nah.
So you're saying
It's
Seaside has
not
a
believable.
little history or part of that Thiz Nation building?
Yeah. The big part. What you mean?
He just
Part,
told you
like,
he was managing it,
A
man.
huge part of it, like
It's 50-50
A whole
right
lot of
there.
people don't know that, I believe.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know.
They really don't.
The artists on the Thiz Entertainment probably didn't know that.
No, everybody knew, because I mean,
Or probably like today, I don't know how it is today.
no, because you got to keep in mind, after he passed, I was literally like, when he passed, my partner Kilo would deal with basically artists, and I would deal with all the business. So it was not everybody. That's how I ended up managing Mr. Fab, because we was doing everything, and then when the hyphy movement really kind of hit, labels were trying to sign him, and I was telling him, like, look, what we should do is, because, like, we were doing what we were doing, but they were definitely interested in him. And I think at the time, you learn from what it was. What we were doing at Thiz was some whole other shit that people don't even realize how big of what we were doing, but also we was really some street niggas. There was a whole bunch it was me and a nigga who just did 10 years in the feds, you know what I'm saying? That was really, it was really some street niggas. And I was literally in the streets at this time. It was like no ands if or buts. So I think that was also a thing at the time, because I was still technically in Seaside, but people didn't realize like I was commuting every day. We had an office in Oakland at Showcase Studio. You know what I'm saying? So I would go there and then come back at night. Like I would go there. It was like a job.
Yeah.
Go there.
Commute.
Leave at 7. Go there at 7. Come back at 5. You know what I'm saying? Be back home by 7 p.m. So. Like, I don't think people realize what was actually happening because it's like, man, I see this nigga every day. Like, that nigga ain't, you know what I'm saying?
Damn, that's really cool, man. That's really like
So this just brings the whole picture together because nobody really knows this side of the story.
This
you know?
is history. You know what I mean?
See, this is the thing.
Well,
all these rappers,
area.
every rapper in Seaside, they know because they've been there. I brought them. They've been around, whether it was shows, whether it was studio. Niggas know. There's a lot of stories niggas ain't gonna say.
yeah, they're gonna leave. They're gonna leave
that part out because it's like, well, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that, you know, there's a lot of opportunities that could have been had from people that, you know, people just didn't really take advantage of for various different reasons. Nobody's fault, but various different reasons. You know what I mean? Like, I think the biggest problem that we had at the time was, it's like going past Marina was like far to niggas. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like going to
they never want to slide through.
Bro, going to Salinas was a journey. Like, man, you going to Northridge? You know what I'm saying?
No,
San Jose? Oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Hell, you going to what?
Oh,
Oakland?
man.
I'm not going. Vallejo?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
like a
That's the problem, man. That's the problem with Californians, man.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing we mentioned earlier. It was like, yo, to go below Fremont? No, that's too far. And that was the mentality. That was the mentality.
I was the same way. We was talking about. I didn't go nowhere until an older homie of ours, Tootie, would take us out of town. Like I didn't go nowhere, bro. We would be in the same little area. You know what I'm saying? In this place.
So
He's the one that kind of
with
opened it up to go places. Then my other partner Quincy, and him, Manny would want to go places, so we started going out more. And then and one thing I've seen and I noticed is like, man, we're programmed to be here. And then for me, it was like the only problems I have is within this area. As soon as I get on the highway,
it's great.
Ain't nobody tripping on me.
Yeah.
I'm not tripping on nobody. So like this is really different. You know what I'm saying? And then I started learning more because, you know what I'm saying, in the field I was in, I would have to go farther north and I would interact with other people. And you start seeing like, man, I'm living a real sheltered life on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that the problem I felt with artists in 831 had been is people are scared to fail. So instead of like going all out and then you don't succeed, then you learn from going the next one. I think that it's been like this rise to the top and everybody want to be the first. So, but people aren't willing to fail. They're not willing to fall on their ass and learn from that mistake. And I think that people are, it's like a big fish in a small pond. Like people aren't, you know what I'm saying? Well, I don't know now, hopefully, but I think that people aren't willing to look bad for the sake of learning. You know what I'm saying?
I see. Everybody wants to go ahead and be like, yo, I did it and I did it the right way. You know what I mean? This
No,
is the way
instead
it's
of saying,
supposed to be
hey, I don't know, they just won't do.
done. Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, hey, I don't know. How do you do this? How can I do this? You know what I'm saying? Well, let me go do this show where nobody knows me, and I'm going to keep doing shows until more people know me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You see that a lot where people aren't willing to take those L's, but you're not taking an L. You're building.
People don't want to do
I
slow
think
grind.
those-
Slow grind.
That's
Yeah,
real.
so that's why I think that what needs to happen more with artists and who does a great job of it is Flood God of just releasing music, because that's
Shout
how
out
you
to
get
Flood
better.
God.
You
Shout out to
learn,
Flood.
and that's why I love him so much because he works so hard and he keeps going. And ain't no like, okay, well, I'm gonna wait a year and a half or whatever. No disrespect to release my project.
4 years. I had a 4-year drought.
Hey, Stretch was waiting on your
waiting.
shit.
Yeah, you've been waiting.
I had a 4-year drought because I didn't know what to do. I thought I want my music to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, it's not coming out.
This is the one
But
thing.
yeah,
It's the one thing I've learned is
I
like,
had to learn to just.
as an artist, you have to find yourself
Yeah.
as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because you're making music today is not the same thing you'll be making later.
That's true.
And you have to find yourself and find your audience and be willing to, you know what I'm saying, to take L's. I've taken plenty of L's. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
I
But
took-
you can't get to where you are if you don't try. And I think that to me has been the problem that I've had is people not willing to try. And I think that's why people, in my opinion, don't work as hard because they don't want to seem like I'm working really hard and it's not paying off. You
Man,
what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
most
And
W's
that's
don't
real,
come
though.
without multiple L's. You know what I mean?
You
gotta
said
take-
what?
I said most W's don't come with like multiple
Oh,
L's.
you
You know what I mean? You gotta take some L's before you
Like,
hit
bro,
that
you
first
know how
W.
many
You know what I mean?
shows I did that didn't make money?
Yeah.
People remember the big ones. Oh, I remember Mac Dre. I remember. Okay, what about the other ones where
Yeah.
it was bad? And you know what I'm saying? I had to go in my pocket. Well, what about those? Like people don't remember. Like Big Time, when that Big Time project came out. Just to put in perspective, we sold 10,000 units completely independent. And I
That's
thought we
big.
was a failure because of listening to what all these other niggas saying. You got to sell 100,000 units. And I mean complete, that was me and him just selling it out the trunk. Literally, he would grind all day up and down the whole country. And that's where I learned the shit from because he didn't give a fuck about what nobody said, did, or whatever. He had a mission he was on to try to push this. And that's what gravitated me towards him than anybody else because I'm like, well, if he's like put my money in to be the rapper, you got to be a rapper 100%. The only time you shouldn't be a rapper is when you're a father, when you're at work. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, you need to accept this role and be this. Because if you don't, you're not going to make it. Like there is no athlete in the NBA that doesn't practice or work hard every day. Yeah. There's no athlete in the NFL that doesn't practice or go hard every day. You don't get to the NBA like, man, I'm not a ball player. You know what I'm saying?
You believe
I'm
it.
a hustler. Like, no, nigga, that might be your persona, but you need to work your ass off and do all of that. Yeah. And I think that it takes commitment and it's hard because we live in an area that's not cheap. You know what I'm saying? You live in an area where it's not easy. There's not availability to studios and all this other stuff, but we have the same internet as everybody else has. You can order the same equipment. You can watch the same YouTube videos. You can do all of that. People like Stacking Memories is a prime example.
Yeah. Shout out Stacking Memories, man.
I met them and didn't know they was from Seaside through Wiz and them, which fucked me up because they were working and did things the way that you should.
Shout out to Christian and David,
They're a prime example of like they had the same internet. They, you know what I'm saying? They got the same equipment. They watched the same tutorials. They took the same classes or whatever they did to get to where they at and sacrifice.
I think sacrifice is a really key word.
Yeah.
When it comes to like, you know what I mean, really trying to pursue it, like you really got to sacrifice certain things. Like
I feel like I didn't get to where I was until I finally sacrificed and said, I'm only going to do music. You know what I'm saying? And that was shit. It wasn't until like, shit.
When someone hit that shit,
It's a long time, man.
Longer than it should have been.
Oh man! So, what's Stretch been up to lately, man? What's been new as of recently? I've noticed like 24K Golden been going crazy.
Yes,
been going crazy. But how'd you find? Did you find 24K or how did that come about?
Well, Big Rich 24 Golden was a part of this program in San Francisco called Project Level that's run by Big Rich. He used to be a rapper from Philly Load who has a nonprofit organization in San Francisco for, you know what I'm saying, for youth. So he had just got a full scholarship to go to Marshall Business School at USC. And I was living in LA, so he's like, hey, I want you to meet this kid. I just want him to have a mentor, somebody he can lean off of because, you know what I'm saying, he's about to go to school in LA. He doesn't know nobody. You know, so he doesn't really have much resource because he's on a scholarship. So I meet him, and he was with Paperboy at the time, and Paperboy's like, man, that's cool and all, but you need to manage him. This kid's a star, whoop, all of this. And he's playing me the music, and he had already been literally even talking to labels just on no music was really out, but he'd already been kind of talking to labels and all of that when I met him. And when I met him, like, I learned so much from him, like, just about, like, time management because he was so organized and so dedicated to what he was doing, not only from music, but also to even school. You know what I mean? So his energy and all that, just like, man, I have to work with him. You know what I'm saying? There was not even no music out, and then it just kind of blew up from there, so.
That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw because when he first came onto my radars, the song that he did with Future.
Yeah, Company.
And
you're
just
literally
listening to that, I was like, yo, this is different, but it goes so hard. And
do you know how late you were then?
Yeah, I was late. I was very late. No, I was very aware how late I was. Trust me. But I mean. Better late than never. Better late than never, right?
The number one song in the world.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. But there's so much music out, man. You just get flooded in it, you know.
You literally had never heard Mood up until that point.
I heard Mood too.
Oh, okay.
I've heard Mood too.
I was about to say.
No. I've heard Mood too as well. But like, I've never actually like, for example, like listened to a whole project.
Yeah.
But yeah, the big songs, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mood, I've heard Mood.
Yeah. Well, that was his first project on Company.
Okay, see,
Okay.
Yeah,
because
so
that's the
Company-
first time I heard him was with Mood.
Yeah,
But
so
I didn't know who he
Company
was.
on his first real project. He had an EP before that, but that was the first real actual album.
Okay. Who's next, man?
Whoever wants to be
Yeah,
next.
whoever
Whoever wants to be.
Whoever wants it the
Whoever's
most.
willing to
you know
put
what I
in
mean?
the
Whoever
work,
wants it the
man.
most.
So whoever
Yeah.
wants to be.
There's a question right here that says, "Why is 831 so Bay Area influenced?" But first of all, do you even agree that?
You said why is what?
Why is the Bay Area? I mean, why is the 831 so Bay Area influenced? But do you believe that 831 is Bay Area influenced, or do you think 831 has their own identity, so to speak? Take some.
I think it's both because
both.
I think that it's so Bay Area influence based on
Just the distance.
well also I
part of
think
it,
that
yeah.
people also go for what is working. So we're all influenced by the Bay Area music and all of that, but I think that I don't say that 831 needs to find its own. But this is the thing, and this is what people don't trip off of. We put a lot of emphasis on the artist, but not enough emphasis on the production. Like any area that has a sound is based off producers, and I think we haven't done a good job of help cultivating and build, you know what I'm saying, the producers to develop the sound. Because there is no sound with the, you can rap any style, any cadence, you know what I mean?
Right. But the same way Memphis got their style, the same
Yeah.
way Texas got their style. You know what I mean? The whole chopped and
See,
screwed.
and
Yeah,
I
like.
said that before. It comes down to the producer pushing out different people.
Okay.
Because
Because the producer's like, all right, well, these are the beats that's popping. This is what people,
Well,
this is
no,
what
that's
artists
the sound.
want. Yeah.
Not so much. The producer will have his own thing.
Like people don't trip off for this. The whole hyping movement. Who do y'all think the producer was that had that sound?
Besides like DJ Fresh and stuff like that, like I honestly don't know. I can't even go ahead and front.
Little John.
Oh,
He
The
did
crunk.
Tell Me When to Go. He did Blow the Whistle. He did Muscle Cars. He did the whole E40 album. We forget he did Shake That Monkey by Too Short. So we don't trip off of it. He's a real top notch level producer, and that was kind of what kind of elevated things to a different level. But we don't trip off of that. We just look at what was said, but not understood. Like, wait, this was produced by a nigga from Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's full Bay Area because he was inspired by the music and did what he did to be a part of it and make it to what it is. But
Okay.
it was all those huge songs were either like mostly Little John, then you had like some Rick Rock, you know what I'm saying, and then Sean T probably had a few. But it was a couple of producers, like the big songs, the ones that really really worked, was made by the, you know what I'm saying, the actual same people.
that's great. So it's kind of like Zaytoven came out of like the Bay, but ended up really doing his shit down south, pretty much like.
So think about like every like Cash Money was based on Manny Fresh. You know what I'm
Manny
saying? Jeff Rowe was based on Dr. Dre. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Fucking
Rough
hell.
Rider was based on Swiss Beats.
Yeah.
Like NWA was based on Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying?
No limit. I mean,
it
yeah.
was based on
Straight Bay. Yeah.
Beats by the Pound. That was the production team. But we forget, and I think we don't give enough to the actual music as opposed to just the artist, because we've always here in the 8th room we kind of put the artist ahead, but not artists aren't coming up with their producer and their sound. You know what I mean? Which
Yeah.
makes it so you're kind of jumping from
Producer.
producer. And I think that also it's like we have to like do a better job at uplifting that producer, you know, and helping them. Like, so if you get a feature now, make sure that your producer is the one doing it. So if you get a feature from an artist from the Bay or whatever, make sure your producer is the one that's producing it. You know what I mean? Make sure that you're getting people to come to your sound and you're not just trying to go over there. But I think it just comes down to individually who people are and what they want to do, and just be solid and straight about yours, because a lot of great artists people laughed out at first, so you have to be willing to just stand out what you're doing.
Yeah. A lot of people made fun of E40 and his flow back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look at him now.
Yeah.
Drake is
Oh,
the biggest
yeah.
artist in the world. If you open up any social media, they're making fun of him somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that aren't cool, like, for some reason. Like, a lot of people hate on Wale, like, they think he's corny or whatever. But I think he makes cool music. He's a good artist. You
Yeah,
know?
but there's nobody that's successful that is not made fun of.
Right. Yeah, it's
not
just part of it.
possible.
What
Yeah.
it
There's
is.
there isn't anybody. I can't think of a single person you're like, oh, everybody loves him.
Yeah, people are cracking jokes right now on Kanye, but he has, you know, #1 album.
Biggest
man.
amount, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He made millions off playing one key, man. Like,
He said, "Ding."
Ran away.
What do you guys think when these happen in 831?
What needs to happen? Dude, you know what's funny? I was gonna ask you that because I really don't know. Like, there's so much talent here, and there is, but sometimes I feel like it's maybe a discouragement. Maybe people go ahead and put their best foot forward, and they see they didn't get the reception they wanted, and it's almost like they feel defeated.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, if I put so much forward and I feel defeated, and I feel like they feel like, yo, my own city ain't fucking with me, so I'm just gonna.
It's the funny thing, like every artist that I've
Feels
ever
that way,
worked
yeah.
with,
Their own
Feels
team
that
never
way.
really fucked with them first.
it's they felt that way at a point, and then they have that song that turned that around. It's like, this is the realest shit ever. Like, if your friends don't like your music, it's not good.
That's true.
Your friends are
Should let you know if your shit's
no,
bad.
Not only that, your friends usually have the same similar taste, and they really like you.
Yeah.
And they
So,
understand
like,
you.
So, like, if your friends are not playing your music,
Yeah.
don't take that as for you. Like, I need to do something. Like, everybody I know who's been successful, they've always been like, nah, I'm making this because my niggas gonna love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if your friends love it, then everybody else is gonna love it. But I would tell people, like, bro, how do you expect to be the biggest artist in the world if you're not even the biggest artist in your neighborhood?
True.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, and everybody I know that's the biggest whatever in their neighborhood, they stick out like sore thumbs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or they just did what they did to build that audience. But I think that we have this thing about being a hater. You don't want to be a hater.
Right.
Like, just because you're from the 831 and you put out music doesn't mean you have to like it, but
Yeah.
you don't have to hate. But I think we have to learn how to give constructive criticism as well.
And that's the thing, and people
How to
don't know.
take
Like,
it.
people don't know how to. Sometimes people don't know how to take constructive criticism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are like, oh no, you just hating because to me this is the hardest thing ever. But in reality, it might be the hardest thing to you. But people got different ears.
No,
You know
but
what I
it's
mean?
really simple. Like, if somebody said that to me, like, we try this out.
Okay.
You gonna be the one to think I'm hating. We're gonna talk about it. You gonna play your song. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't think that's it. You gotta be the hater, and I gotta respond.
Okay. Well, no, man, this is the hardest shit ever, bro. What you mean?
Says who?
Says me, bro. This is the hardest shit ever, bro.
Or do you hear anybody else playing it?
Ah, fuck.
You know what, man? My homie had it bumping in his whip.
It was like, I mean, my girl. Nah, fuck it.
No, yeah.
That's true.
If you don't hear your music outside of you, then that tells you something.
I mean,
You
if
know what I mean?
your block ain't playing your
You have
music,
the
then
same internet as everybody else.
Yeah.
You have the
So
same
true.
SoundCloud, you have
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
Spotify,
But
you have
yeah.
the same Apple Music.
Probably the same phone.
But
That's
now,
everywhere.
but now with internet, it's so easy to share. But sometimes you stop and wonder, like, are they really playing it, or are they just sharing it?
Well, I mean, it shows your things, though.
But-
it shows your plays on all these different
No,
platforms.
but they just
No,
share
I
the
know,
picture.
But like, we know when people really like something because there's something. It doesn't have to be somebody from the area, but if there's a song or a project that you like, you guys are talking about it amongst each other, and
That's
you're sharing it
right.
or whatever. If you're not doing that with artists, then that lets you know you just like you may really like somebody, but they're just not making what you want to like.
What you want to
You
hear.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and
that's
that
what-
happens. Or somebody can make a great song, but other people just don't like it. You
That's
know what I'm saying?
true.
You can't like. I was watching a Tyler interview, and he was like, "Nobody's wrong. If you don't like this, just don't like it."
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So there's two people that make music. You make music because you want to make the best for you. And if you do that, you really don't give a fuck what nobody thinks. Or you're making music because you want to be the biggest to do a whole audience. And that means you have to listen to the audience. You either listen to yourself or you listen to the audience. I don't think Kanye is listening to an audience.
No,
You know
definitely
what I'm
not.
saying?
So-
But he's also not discouraged if somebody says this shit is whack.
yeah.
808s and Heartbreak came out, niggas said it was whack.
I loved it.
Hardest shit
dope,
ever.
I
like-
fucking loved
But
it
at
when
the
it came
time,
out.
at the time though, at the time,
I was getting clowned
Yeah.
on because like, why are you bumping that CD with a heart balloon? I'm like,
Nah,
yo,
I'm not
chill.
gonna lie, bro. At the time, it wasn't the shit that was in at the time, bro.
Considered trash.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked it because it was just different.
But think about the shit that was fire at the time. You go ahead and play it back now. It's like, oh, that shit don't hit the same. But you go ahead and play
No,
808.
but what I'm saying is, when Kanye made that, he knew he was going a far left. He didn't care.
Yeah.
When he did Black Skinhead, you think he cared what anybody thought? He was like, "This is what I'm finna do."
Yeah.
And that's literally probably the most requested sync song in music in the past like 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can't focus on what everybody else thinks because it doesn't matter. Like I always
That's right.
equate this to sports. Like, you think Kobe cared about airballing 2 shots in a row in Utah as a rookie?
Yeah.
He didn't give a fuck. That nigga kept shooting.
Keep shooting.
If you're not willing to keep shooting, then what you doing? You can't make it
That's
if you
real.
don't shoot it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people just have to realize that. Like, what are you scared of? Because I don't give a fuck what you do. People are not gonna like it.
Yeah, there's always gonna be people that just like
That's true
it's
though,
not for
because
me,
I
not
was
for
talking
me.
to Mr. Active and Attractive, and he mentioned that said, I'm like, if you look at your young self, what would you tell him? And he said the same thing, like, don't focus so much on the numbers. Like the numbers aren't always there. Like as long as you're feeling yourself and you show up to your show and people are showing you love, that's really what matters. Even though if you're not getting the thousands of views, you get 300 views, but it's like a solid view, like a solid
To
following.
me, it's just about progression and learning what works and what doesn't, and just building off of that. Like literally.
Yeah, just gotta pay those dues and keep pedaling. Like
right.
it's
Yeah.
the consistency is like I guess it's true to say, consistency is key.
I remember Jay Stalin, and I remember working with him, and he's always been Jay Stalin. He's always been the funny, great dude. You know what I'm saying? Who made music that you could feel. You know what I'm saying? But he also never gave a fuck what somebody else was thinking or saying. So when I was working with him, that's why I fucked with him so much, because he didn't give a fuck. He was styling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm from Cypress Village, West Oakland. This is what I'm making. And then people were like, oh shit, I like this. But it wasn't always like that. But he never, Stalin never lost any sleep on what somebody thought about it. I know Mac Dre didn't give a flying fuck.
Oh, no.
He had his own style.
He would make songs on beats, and you'd be like, what were you thinking? And he'd find a way to make it work. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't care. I remember, like, when he did Rapper Gone Bad, people don't realize, like, he was really broke. That's why on the cover, he was on there like Real Rapper Food, and it's called Rapper Gone Bad. Because he had got out the feds, and he had did the Rompilation, but he was still on supervised release. And he was tired of the stipulation, so he was like, you know what, I'm just going to go back and do this time so I can give them no parole, no nothing.
Exactly.
So he does that when he get out. He's really broke. So he made Rapper Gone Bad. And listen to the first song called Rapper Gone Bad. That's what I think people liked him so much, because he would say things that were funny and you could relate to.
Yeah.
Because you know you're coming from a real space. It wasn't like, man, what are people gonna say about me saying
Coming from the
Genuine.
bottom. Yeah.
ugliest bitch in Oakland?
It happens. Yeah. I mean,
And it's real shit.
different.
And it's
like,
like
I'm not rapping about gold chains. I'm not rapping about this and that. It's like, no, about everyday real life shit.
And that's real life shit. And he was in
Exactly.
10 seconds flat. Damn, she done.
yeah, that was it.
Where's she at? I mean, shit.
And you know that shit was real. Like the energy was real, because that was the space he was in. That was the mode he was in. So it's all genuine. It's genuine.
I think
you know
that
what I mean?
people look for things that are authentic in any way. And you know what I'm saying? You gravitate towards that.
Definitely.
It really
Well, I
is.
think-
I'm a big energy person, man. If I don't feel your vibe, like I already know, like you can't relate to that. You need to push them away, because it ain't gonna fit you in no way.
So who are your favorite artists from the 831 not named Miggy?
Okay, not naming Miggy. I like Lishop. Lishop's been doing this shit. Let me see.
Joe P, SMG.
And one thing about Lisha, he's the only person out of everybody, and I only met him a couple years ago, who will call and ask questions, and like, cause I always tell people like, bro, I'm here, I'm available. I can't be everywhere, but if he needs some information, I'm here to share whatever knowledge I have. He's one of the only people I can say consistently will call and ask. And sometimes I'm not available. I might not respond to a text for a week. You know what I'm saying? He don't take it personal. You know what I'm saying? He'll just wait till I'm available. You know what I'm saying? Thank you or whatever. And I think that it takes that, because that's why I like him so much, is he always is trying to learn. He's always trying to figure out, not just as an artist, but like as a business. You know what I'm saying? How to do things, the right way to expand what he's doing. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, that's going to take him a long way.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true.
Can't be crazy amount of projects out, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Someone else that I haven't heard too much from recently, but goes stupid hard, is Caesar. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Caesar.
that's
But I haven't heard too much recently.
that's
but
my
like,
godson. So that's
oh, okay.
Yeah, like
I didn't even know that.
That's my god. I've known him his entire. That's my godson. That's personal.
Another.
Okay, I didn't know it was that close. You know what I mean?
Oh
But,
yeah, no, that's like everybody knows that.
It makes some slappers, bro.
Oh no,
Like,
he's incredible. It's it's
When he's
just,
in story mode, it's insane.
bro. He's another example of just because he's so talented, but letting the extracurricular things, take you off. Like he's in prison right now. You know what I'm saying? To take you off the streets or take you out of the mode. You know what I'm saying, for what you can be. Like he's toured with
Wiz.
he's been like literally he's kicking at Chris Brown. So he's done so many things that, you know what I'm saying? Because I would always try to show him something different. But I think it's one of those things where you're so loyal to you and your niggas and all this other shit that you can't kind of see past like the opportunities you have. And also I think people think these opportunities, you know what I'm saying, not only last forever, but it's always available. And there's really something about timing. Like everybody has their time and their timing. And I think it's far from over for him, but I think that what it is like he's made things more difficult than they had to be. You know what I'm saying? But I also understand why, because like I said, I've known him his whole life. He grew up in the bullshit. He's a product of the bullshit that we were a part of. So I can understand, you know what I'm saying, the mentality and the thinking. And, you know, that's people my age's fault. We fucked y'all up. You know what I'm saying? We fucked y'all up. That's what it is.
At least you're taking some, you know what I mean, accountability.
Oh, yeah, man, 100%.
Because there's a lot of people like, hey,
Man,
you know what I mean? Everybody's their own man. Everybody's their own person.
We
but like,
fucked
yeah.
Seaside up. Period. No ands if or buts about it. We didn't know no better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But now
things are where they are because of the bullshit that we were a part of. You know
At
what I
the
mean?
same time, people was trying to survive too, even more back then.
Yeah, but I mean, in retrospect, you can look at things differently because for a long period of time, I was like, I only fucked with these group of people. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. That was all. We all grew up together, so it didn't. I mean, in hindsight, it did make sense, and you understand how things get to where they are. But I think that the problem was once we did fix our shit, we never patched up what had happened because of our situation, Seaside split in three ways. It was this side, that side, or basically neutral. So when everything is, you know what I'm saying, basically like cool, we never educated the young niggas on this or don't go back. Like there's certain shit that should have never been revamped up. You know what I'm saying? Like it should have left where we left it.
Squash.
Kept it where it is. Not it wasn't like not the squash, but like even the namesake. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's no need to keep going on with this because this happened as a direct result of this split. If there's no longer a split, then there's no need why we have to do this. Like once there was a civil war, there's no reason for a Confederate flag anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Exactly.
We're all back America again.
That's the
so
bar.
if we're all back America again, then you know what I'm saying? That's what we need to do. But I know myself, you know what I'm saying, included. We was a part of that division, you know what I'm saying? And not understanding and realizing what it would do long term that you see now. You know what I'm saying? And allowing other shit to splinter off and not educating people on, you know, what could happen and how things could go. So I think that that's the problem because I think that honestly a lot of us were just happy that things were in a much better place, but didn't think about, you know what I'm saying, all the damage that had already been done and not educating and just being there for people to show them a better way. You know what I'm saying?
A lack of OGs, you might say, maybe.
Yeah,
Like,
just a lack of guidance.
Yeah, because like I said, I wasn't around. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was jailed, dead, or there. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't.
Hustling,
but like for somebody, like I take it personal because somebody like me, I can still talk to these youngsters, but I wasn't. Like I'm it's not my responsibility to be here and walk nobody's hands, but I think that there's things that I could have had conversations with people to kind of steer things a different way. You know what I'm saying? That I just didn't do because you kind of feel like, oh, they'll figure it out. I didn't figure it out. So
The cycle repeats, man.
Yeah.
oh, man.
Well, shit.
So, how we running on time right here, June?
It's an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an hour.
Any last question? What's the last question going on?
Well, I think we pretty much covered. There's like advice for artists and 831, but we pretty much covered it, like consistency, not being afraid.
Don't be afraid to fail. You know what I mean?
Don't be afraid to fail. Take
Be
those
afraid to ask
L's.
for advice, man.
Don't be afraid.
be original.
Yeah.
Listen to your friends.
Listen to your friends.
Like you know how it is. Like if he makes a song you really like, then you're like, oh, that shit is dope. If he makes a song you don't like, you're like.
You just stay quiet.
You just bob your head.
Hey, yo, son, what you think?
Yeah, listen to
That's true.
You know what? Another thing is like, bro, like, man, if your friend raps, man, it's cool to be in the entourage, but like when you go to a show, like I see this happen so many times, there'll be 40 people on stage and 10 people in the crowd. Like, if 40 people go in the crowd and you're hype, it's gonna hype everybody else.
Straight up.
Even if there's 1,000 people in the crowd, if the 40 people you came with are in the front going crazy, people react to energy. Like, you said,
That's
so
so true.
I fuck with this, you know what I'm saying? So like, let them be seen. Let them be the star, but also bring that energy so that way people feel as if like
That's
people
true.
like what other people like. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you fuck with that? Okay. You look look at it differently. So
You start looking around. People are fucking with this. Okay, it makes me.
And if 10 people are going absolutely bananas, that may not seem like a lot, but that's a lot of people.
And it gravitates people to go ahead and
yeah. This, you know what I'm saying? But if everybody's on stage and y'all going bananas, singing
they're just looking at y'all like, oh damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't
That's
come
real.
like, man, go in the crowd, like support.
Right,
like,
right,
like, real support. Like, don't just be the niggas on stage. Like, it's not about you.
It's funny because, like, yeah, you see your homie on stage, like he's getting the limelight. It's almost like you want to be a part of that limelight.
But if you think about it, for you to let him get the full light, and then you can get the limelight.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
But right now, it's about him. It's about pushing this.
Yeah.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Man.
True.
Yeah,
That's so true because I've seen that so many times. Like, god damn, like, yo, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember performing in a Fox Theater with my homie and
I was
Sandy and
mentioning
Lil
that,
James. You know what I mean? They were in the crowd. They're like in the cool section and they're going hyped. Some people are going hyped as well because they're going hyped. But then you got those people that are just looking around like, what the fuck? Why are they going hype?
Yeah.
You know. But I think it was like a cool experience.
Yeah, that's
Definitely. Yeah.
being on the side of the stage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely
True.
experience. I can't wait for more shows. You know what I mean? Hopefully this COVID
real.
doesn't stop any more than it has to. But
For real.
yeah.
A lot of shows
Hopefully.
got canceled that you had planned because of this whole COVID bullshit.
Whole tours.
Whole tours.
Everything.
Yeah.
Things are coming back now. It's
Slowly?
interesting to see. Yeah.
Are you like more careful with it now? Now there's like restrictions.
There's probably more guidelines. There's more
guidelines.
Well, guidelines for like
Yeah.
now for like the festivals and stuff. It's like you have to be vaccinated or have a clear.
The test
Negative
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you guys are anti.
I'm not anti, but I'm just saying I'm not in a rush to get it. But my job's making me get it, so I mean,
I got my fucking vaccine.
I'm
So.
about to say, you know you got to play your vaccine.
oh yeah, I'm not anti. I just wasn't rushing to get it.
I
You know
remember
what I
being
mean?
in elementary school with a whole fucking sheet of vaccines
Exactly.
crossed off. Like,
All of those.
yeah,
They're
Yeah, that's fine.
we've been experimented on.
No,
it.
yeah, that's fine. I'll get shot up next week. It's fine, bro. It's
As
fine.
a child,
Yeah.
they take you away from the mother, and who knows what the fuck they
Yeah,
give
who
you.
knows? Yeah, who knows? No wonder I'll be having back pains
a lot of propaganda.
already. Yeah.
I mean, what's the propaganda?
It's just a lot of people. I think with social media nowadays, like, oh, like you see one video of people that get fucked up. You know what I mean? Maybe one person out of 1 million people that
Right.
got vaccinated. You know what I mean? It's like,
Less than 1%.
and people focus on just that one
Yeah.
person out of 1 million and be like, oh, well, that could be me. And it's like, nah, man. fuck it.
Yeah.
Because that's
You have to think about this. So
It's not the way. I'm not thinking that way. You know what I mean?
That one video, those same people ignoring all the videos of people dying from COVID. It's like
It's so crazy.
you show
Yeah.
one video, but you know somebody that died.
Mhm.
Like, you don't know nobody who had any effects. You don't know nobody.
Yeah.
But you know people that have died, almost died, have long-term effects of COVID. But you worried about this?
So true.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you niggas carry guns and shoot people. And you worried about a fucking vaccine?
No, man. Here's the thing, man. I put Jack Daniels in my liver all the time, bro. Like,
You know what I'm saying? All kind of shit. Like you snorting coke and all kind of shit.
You don't even
fentanyl,
know.
whatever in it. You worried about a vaccine? Ain't no fentanyl in no vaccine.
that's so true. Yeah.
They might take it if they have
Ain't
it.
no goddamn
Vaccine. OD off the vaccine. Fuck. Yeah.
True.
OD off the antibodies.
Just let you know, yeah. I'm getting vaxxed next week, man. You're like, fuck it. All right, man. Any last questions, man, before we get up out of here?
Some
Man.
questions for y'all.
Oh,
Please,
ask
man.
away,
Let's
please.
do it. Let's
We
do
never
it.
get
Yeah,
questions.
but no, like, so what do you think outside of artists, as far as infrastructure in the music scene in the 831, that we need and that, you know what I'm saying, we should work on to help?
like you said, support.
Not only support, but
I mean, like,
I think
infrastructure,
more. I think people are very racially divided,
Oh, 100%.
and I think it takes certain people to go ahead and just cross that bridge to go ahead and be like, you know what, I'm gonna do a song with this person. I'm gonna do a song with this person. I think two people are like you said, like you grew up in your hood, you grew up in your environment, and you're just stuck to that. You don't want to go ahead from Seaside to Salinas and do a track with someone from Salinas. You know what I mean? But in reality, I think it takes people to go ahead and just build the chain around all the little cities around and just build this crazy link to go ahead and just form an infrastructure like the way Atlanta does it. You know what I mean? Probably not. I guess no.
I would say Atlanta does a good job of making it look good. There's a lot
Okay.
of people that do not get along, and there's serious
And you would know
things and all
deeper,
that
yeah.
going on.
Okay.
But it's different when you're making money.
Okay.
So like, if you're like, hey, yeah, you're gonna do this song with so you're both gonna make X amount of dollars. Yeah, it's easy to put something aside. But when it's like, yeah, you got to do this for free and hope it works.
Yeah, that's
But
different.
You have to answer to your partners. They got to answer to their homeboys. It's like, that's, you know what I'm saying. That's when I think it becomes kind of different. And I can never, you know what I'm saying, say somebody is right or wrong for how they approach anything that is street related. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can never say you're right or wrong on how you approach anything that's street related once it comes with music, because like the two things are can be very volatile. Because once you do that, now what, you supposed to do shows together? How y'all gonna
That's right. No video.
See,
like all those other things happen. I think that what people can have is like, you want to get to that point, but it can be an understanding. Like, look, just as simple as this, we just don't diss people on records.
Yeah.
Just as simple as that.
Okay.
All make records, so just be a little slicker about it. Don't make it so.
Yeah,
So
so
blind.
obvious. Yeah.
There's a couple artists in
Leave it up to the
doing
mind
that.
to judge.
Huh?
Leave it up to the mind to decide if you are or not.
Yeah, I mean, I just come from a different era, and I think that it's certain shit that if it's documented and it's on a fucking video, how's somebody supposed to get over it?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't somebody say fuck my dead homie and then it's just cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Much
it's
less
gonna be
make a
there.
song about it. You know what I'm saying?
I can go back to it anytime. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And all that. So it's like, yeah, I'm at a different place in life where I'm like, yeah, that's whatever. But I can understand how that can, you know what I'm saying, cause more problems. So I mean, on that end, I understand. You know what I'm saying?
So you said infrastructure. I would think neutral people. I know people that are neutral from Salinas, people that are neutral from Seaside. If they manage to work together, they're gonna, in a way, unite different crowds.
Yeah.
So I would say, as far as that, just being able to work with people, but not picking sides and letting them know it's more like a business decision than more like, okay, this is. I understand the streets are here, your politics and stuff,
Yeah.
but if we're here to make money, it should go beyond that.
So have you guys seen it be an issue with actual neutral artists?
I don't think so.
I haven't seen it. I mean, there's
I don't see it
there's,
happening
there's
too often
unspoken
either.
politics. There is, but so far I haven't seen any neutral artists have a problem making music with different people.
But how often does
just-
it happen either? Are they reaching out to each other? I don't see it too
Well,
often.
I mean,
either.
I feel
in
like it's
Salinas,
starting more
there's Dirty
now.
Money and Chubbs getting together, and they're making music videos, and those two are totally opposite gangs. And they're just, actually making good ass music and, getting everything together. That's something, that we don't see often around here, especially around here.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe just understanding from the past. Like there's things that don't involve you, but yet you
Maybe-
will die for it.
Maybe stop trying to chase the sound. It's hot, and try to go ahead and create your own
Yeah.
shit. Maybe because
And that's another thing too. The sound has to make sense. Like, does this person make sense with this song that I'm doing? Like, you gotta. Yeah.
People don't care what somebody says.
Definitely.
Okay, true. Another connection that people don't care what other people say. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
Well, I mean, you see, L.A., the Cribs and the Bloods, they united. They tied the rags together. Why can't it happen here too?
it's different. It's different. Yeah.
Yeah, LA is LA.
Like, yeah, you tie a rag together with a blood you never had an issue with, but a Crip ain't gonna tie a rag. A neighborhood Crip isn't gonna tie a rag with a Hoover or with a block Crip. So it's
That's
like,
so
you know
true.
what I'm saying? It's like, that's just,
Yeah.
like there's certain politics where you understand, like you gotta stay away. from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you see a picture, but the picture don't explain the whole,
No,
the whole
pictures,
story.
like,
you know
yeah,
what
if
I
you're
mean?
an artist,
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, I'm with that person, but I know a lot of people that just like, hey, I fuck with you, but because of these politics, it's not worth. So because
Yeah.
it's just larger conversations. I personally think that, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to really make, you know what I'm saying, solve all the gang problems in the 831 to be
Right.
able to make good music. He doesn't make gang music, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So just kind of
Active and Attractive doesn't make gang music. You
Right,
know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
So I think that there's so many different ways. I was talking about more like whether it, you know what I'm saying, a way to do more shows, whether is it needing more managers, is it like
Yeah.
you know,
Promoters.
studios, is it, you know what I'm saying, like just what do y'all feel infrastructural that is not there that can be worked on? I'm asking because I'm looking
Yeah.
to help try to make
Yeah.
solutions.
Probably more shows to go
Yeah,
ahead and gravitate
promoters.
people. Like for example, we'll go ahead and talk about A-Rod. A-Rod was going ahead and throwing shows out at the Fox Theater, bringing Mike Sherm out. You know what I mean? Obviously, he has the openers that are local rappers from in town, but obviously the headliner may be Mike Sherm, but all the local people go ahead and gravitate to go ahead and support maybe they like Mike Sherm, but
Yeah.
they're watching all the local rappers as well, and then they go ahead and get their limelight. I think more things like that should happen, but I
Yeah.
think more people don't want to go ahead and in a way,
Yeah.
maybe just put the bread up to go ahead and do it. You know,
Yeah, I
Well,
mean,
were people supporting it? Did he make money?
bro. I mean, I don't know about. I
Yeah, it looked
ain't looking
cracking.
at people's pockets,
It
but I'm
looked
just saying
cracking.
that the line outside was crazy,
Yeah.
and it was packed inside, so it didn't
Yeah.
look unsuccessful.
I think the Ezel show was pretty good too.
Yeah,
I
that
think
one
The
was-
easy,
that
yeah,
was
exactly.
good.
I believe we just need a spot like that because they have a whole theater.
Yeah.
out
I
there.
think
like
it's more
right
so
here, I
like the
believe,
city
like right
too,
now,
though.
right now
Like
only
the
Seaside
city
has Deja
supporting.
Blue. Because there's where Active and Track is doing most of his shows. Because he said something about what was it, Planet Gemini? Or what is it now?
Now they keep changing like the
no,
Jade
I'm
Lounge.
calling it Planet Gemini.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
still
Planet
Gemini.
Gemini.
Everybody knows.
I'm not calling it whatever it is now. It's
They're
Planet
having
Gemini.
issues. I don't know what
That
happened.
that
with
thing
that.
was more so like the kitchen got on fire. It was more like in structural shit. But I mean, I would say more shows in the city, and the city just fucking with you at the end of the day. Because I hosted an event with Mr. Active and Attractive before, and it was successful. We didn't make a whole lot of money, but we broke above even, which is fair enough. You know, but we included the stage. We did the whole works. We had the lights. We had the DJ. I hired some robots dudes to come and dance, something that no one has seen in the area.
Right.
You know, so kind of just making it stand out. They had guns that shot like smoke and all this other bullshit.
I was like, wait, what? Like,
No.
they got
Like
guns that
smoke
shot the
and stuff like
cloud.
that.
Oh,
And
man,
then you
fuck,
see the
crazy.
robots, like tall ass robots dancing with the people, you know, so you're just kind of thinking outside the box. But yet, the Monterey County restricted us to hiring their own bartenders and on their own time. So that puts a restriction. They want us out of there at 11. And then if there's an issue, we got to hire their security. And it's like their security that we hired private security, 2 people. My security flew off the stage when there was a flight and tried to stop it. Well, the fairground security just stood there and watched. You know, so they put a lot of limitations and they want to tax you for all this stuff. When you're coming up, it's kind of hard to just put up all this bread. We still did it. It was successful. I'm not saying it was the full as what we were expecting, but at least we broke above even, which makes it a good night, you know?
Also, I don't know, maybe like Central Coast Slaps, you know what I mean? They be doing little ciphers, you know what I mean? Go ahead and put in limelight on like maybe people you don't know. Like it's little things like that, but honestly, who knows, man? Like I really don't.
Shows
Just
in the
to- just
I,
to
producer.
I don't have
better.
the answer to be like, yo, you guys do this.
Yeah, you guys do that.
Take off. You know?
Well, not that. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, you know, as an artist yourself, you
Yeah.
see what is difficult and what is easy. And just trying to see, like, okay, this is what we kind of need.
One more thing I would say, like knowledge or management. You know, someone that isn't fully gonna hold your hand and walk you through it, but it's like, okay, like these are the steps.
Yeah.
Do a little research and figure it out. But at least there's someone that's kind of doing the infrastructure where like, okay, well, this is your first step. If you manage to get here, this is your next step. Like, figure it out. I'm not gonna hold your hand, but if you continue to go this way, then
Take
it will
the
work.
Ls.
Because not a lot of people have mentors out here. Everybody's still trying to figure it out and trying to go off the hype, but there's no one that says, okay, to get into the billboards, this is what you need to do.
So, do you guys know of, like, managers in the area that might be helping mentors?
No manager.
The last
And
guy.
here's one thing I wanted to ask you is like, do people hit you up for like maybe mentorship that are from the area, like trying to hit you up for like advice or maybe
Yeah,
like
people, I think people do, and then I think that sometimes it gets. I get this feeling of like I don't want to bother him, or you know what I'm saying, or
Make it seem like I'm asking for a handout
yeah,
or
like I
something.
said, Lisha was the only person that. Because I always say, there's no dumb question. Like if you don't know the answer, how you gonna know if you don't ask? But I think a lot of times people just don't want to. And then people have like real relationships. People I've known their whole lives, and it's just like I think that there becomes a sense of, oh, well, he's above or beyond. You know what I'm saying? Me, and not really saying like, well, so what, nigga? Like.
you came from.
Try. Let me say no, or let me not fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Then at least attempt and try. I think that a lot of times, because what I'll do, I keep it real. Like if I kind of know somebody, or if I don't really know somebody, like if somebody reaches out, I'll make sure that you know what I'm saying, I respond, and you know what I'm saying, do whatever I can. But you know what I'm saying, if they don't do what they're supposed to do once or two times, I'm not chasing nobody. I'm not trying to do none of that shit. You know what I mean? So like y'all, when y'all hit me, it was like, yeah, sure, I would love to, but that wouldn't happen if y'all didn't ask me.
That's so true. Hey, we took the shot and it happened. Look at us.
That's real though.
Yeah.
For real.
That's crazy. Okay.
Look where we're at now.
Damn. All right. Well, I mean,
So
hey,
what's
man, that's how
some
you guys
advice you have for somebody, or who do you think would have some of the higher potentials to really keep working on their craft and type of stuff?
I know who I think is the best artist in A3.
Oh, I want to hear that.
The $1 million
Let us know.
question.
Let us know.
What's your name? Leah Libra?
Leah Libra.
Is that her name?
No, I have no idea, bro.
I'm a look.
Yeah.
She's
Look.
she's bipolar in my opinion. Like
R&B artist, rapper.
Nah, she's a rapper. You guys don't know who she is?
Is she?
bro.
We don't know who she
We're
is.
sleeping.
Leah, we apologize.
Leah
Leah.
Yeah,
Libra.
Leah the Libra.
Leah the
Pull her
Libra.
up.
Pull her up. Pull her up, June. Pull her up, June.
And apologize.
Leah the
for y'all
Libra.
not knowing who she is.
We're sorry, Leah.
apologize.
See it. Leah, we apologize.
Liyaah. Yeah.
AH.
There we go.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay. Let him
Oh, yeah, I've heard of her. She got bars.
Yes.
She got
Apologize
bars.
right now.
Yeah,
Hey, we apologize, Leah.
Apologize right now.
We're going to get you
Yes, I've heard of
on
her.
the podcast.
Yeah.
I think I seen one
Yeah.
of these.
Click one,
Yeah, I
June.
think I seen one of these.
Turn it up. Turn it up. Turn it up.
Apologize too.
What's the album? The
Apologize.
Frequency?
That's a picture. That's a
What-
picture.
Right, the album?
Yeah.
Yeah, that goes hard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
We're probably gonna have to get her for the end of the month.
Leah.
So what makes you think she's the best rapper? Is it bars? Is it her work ethic? Is it
Just yeah,
Just please, just find a song.
yeah. The whole Frequency album is dope.
try it on
honestly.
Spotify?
June, turn it up. Good. Oh, the switch up.
Yeah.
Find another song. Just like literally. Or just go up to one of her freestyles where she's just,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like
she
raw
got
shit.
one.
I like that raw
One of
shit.
those.
That's where you really prove it. Whoa. What's going on?
What's going
Oh,
We
man.
doing June.
Instagram don't want to let us, man. We gotta pay Instagram. Gotta pay Instagram for everything nowadays.
Look at the shit be working with, bro.
Just press play or look it up
Yeah.
on Spotify.
I hate
real quick.
Instagram,
scroll it
man.
up higher and then click it. Because it seems like it's dropping down.
No, I'm trying to turn it on.
That's what I'm saying. Scroll it up higher and then, like the screen.
Down, go down.
Yeah.
Scroll down. That's as far as it goes?
Oh, okay.
And then it takes you back up, huh?
Because that's that thing. You gotta get the different.
Can you
little
press the
app.
sound
That's weird.
up on there?
Remember we did that shit there last time.
Oh, that's right.
Nice one play though.
Yeah,
That's weird.
that was weird. Yeah. Just takes you back up.
What do you press the volume up key on there?
Well, from the little I did hear, the energy is good.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
The vibe, definitely vibes.
Where's she from?
She's from Seaside.
No, you have to hear something. You guys are going to apologize for that.
No, yeah, we definitely gonna have her on the pod for sure.
Can you pull her up on Spotify?
And are you planning on working with her soon, or you already
Oh,
on?
no, I've
You just
never
listening,
met her.
just
I
enjoying.
think I talked to her once on Instagram or something, but I know
Showing
my
respect.
uncle, he had put something on Facebook. Like she's just
Let's see. That's it?
No.
Is it? No? Huh. Damn. Yeah. I mean, people had trouble typing my stuff in. And they're like, yo, I can't find your shit, can't find your shit.
I think that's her
Yeah.
IG name. I don't think.
Like the artist name, yeah.
See if on RG there's like a link to something.
Oh yeah, there is one on that.
Go back to the IG.
Press escape.
Making you work, June, making you work.
What's going on with the computer, bro? You got viruses on the computer, bro?
The crack streams came back.
Hey, you got some Trojans on there, bro?
There we go. She's right there.
Towards the top.
She was right there, yeah.
Link
Link.
at the link at the top. Link at the no.
You gonna try again?
Nah. Click the link on her bio though.
Here we go.
There we go. The frequency. Oh, the frequency.
The frequency. Yeah. Play that shit. We're starting off from the intro.
Yeah, she went in.
This chapter of life is legal when the realest is tense.
The Frequency. She goes by Libra. By Libra. Hey, I'm a Libra too. Shout out to her.
Yo, I picture slapping this shit with my top down. My top don't even go down, bro.
Somehow it's down.
Somehow it's down though, bro.
It's just the windows. It's just all the windows down. It's just all the sunroof.
Stick my head out the window. This is hard, man. This is
she
hard.
goes in.
We apologize, Leah to Libra, man. Like this is crazy, and
I
this is just a
forgot.
snippet I heard. So like I can only imagine what the whole
Yeah,
project
the
is.
quality,
it's on
man, the
Apple
quality.
Music and all that. I got
The
it on
quality.
my phone.
The quality is
He
crisp.
apologized to everybody else.
Yeah, I apologize.
Shit, we all did.
Apologize.
We
Oh, that's what I'm
apologize,
saying,
man.
You had it on your phone. You didn't know
Yeah.
though.
Goes to show you, like, y'all didn't even know about her. She's right from here. I think they just need to do a better job of just supporting each other.
So true.
You know.
I feel like
I mean,
I
shit,
feel like recently we've been doing the reaching out. I feel like people don't try to reach out towards us. You know what I mean? Like obviously
Sometimes they do.
we have eyes, but we don't have eyes to see everybody. You know, there's a lot of people doing stuff. Like we reach out, but also like don't be afraid to reach out to us. You know,
Just
what I mean?
tag us on a
I-
post.
I look
Check
at us
this
as like
out.
the platform. Like you're doing something. Here's the
Yeah.
mic. Go ahead and speak
It's
on what
not
you're
just
doing.
music either. We had painters, we had tattoo artists, we've had you know, all kinds of people that do different things, just different, you know what I mean, just different creators. We have all kinds of creators. So yeah, this is a platform for the creators, man. Like, you know what I mean, slide through, literally slide through, and
And you heard it from Stretch, man. You up next, pretty much.
You up next. Just keep putting that work.
Well, shit. Well, I already know we passed our time, but you know that don't even matter, man. We got, you know what I mean. We got the guy here. You know what I mean. It's the guy. We got
A
the
Sunday
guy
podcast,
here.
never
We
been
got
done
the
before.
guy,
Only for the one and only. You know what I mean?
Yeah, come on now,
Exactly.
man. What we talking about, man?
You have more
Alright,
questions
man.
for us?
Wait, who won the fight?
Ooh. Please tell me Tyrone knocked that motherfucker out, bruh. Come on. Better call Tyrone.
Yeah.
So who's getting the
Wow,
tattoo?
split decision.
What?
Nah.
Who?
Oh, I went all 8 rounds. That's trash.
Hey, that must have been a trash fight then.
I'm gonna have to.
Jake Paul won?
Yeah,
Jake Paul
decision?
won?
they gave it to Jake, I guess.
He talked about your mom.
That's all. That's all.
Tyrone wasn't acting enough. Not a bad fight though. It was
Damn.
yeah.
It is what it is.
Crazy.
So much shit.
It is what it is.
I guess we gotta watch the rerun, see if it was fair. A fair
I mean,
decision.
these fights are making a lot of money. If he would have lost, that would have been the end of that, though. Like honestly.
Yeah.
Well, if it goes the whole distance,
But can he actually squat, though?
well, he's
Actually,
fighting
that-
MMA fighters. He's not fighting boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember they asked me, it was like, would you do one boxing match, one MMA? He's like, absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different ball game.
Yeah.
Oh, he got squabbles for sure, but I mean, like when it comes to like some real shit,
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
you see this, the fighters be having a weird stance because they're used to.
Just
Certain
taking
way,
down.
yeah.
Yeah. They're more ground and pound when it comes to just. It's very awkward.
Yeah, and Tyrone's a
I'm-
wrestler.
Fuck, man, I'm
Yeah.
disappointed.
He knew he picks the right opponents.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
But hey, you got to give him his props.
Mhm.
Shout out to him for making bags, man,
Yeah.
off this.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
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 Ah, fuck him.
Well, fuck it though. But hey, man. I
Any
think
last words, man? Again, we appreciate you for coming through.
Yeah.
man.
Progression.
Progression.
And thank you guys for everything y'all do for the A3 and the artists for giving that outlet. And
Likewise,
giving
man.
people opportunity to be heard.
Yeah. Thank you, man. It means a lot.
Appreciate
It
you.
really
For reals,
does.
for reals.
And your consistency.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We
See,
try-
and that's one thing. I thank you. I appreciate that as
Yeah.
well. Every week. Every week, baby.
Every week,
Tuesday.
man. The
Every
guys are
Tuesday.
here. Yep. Well, shit.
Damn, man. Again, it was a pleasure to meet you, man.
It really was,
Yeah.
man. We
Oh, yeah.
appreciate you
Heard a
coming,
lot.
man.
Heard a lot since a kid, man. You know, finally.
For
Yeah.
real.
Good
No,
For
things
yeah.
to
real.
come,
For
man.
real.
Good things to come.
The man, the myth, the legend himself, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shoot.
Seaside Stretch, you got it, man. Seaside shit, 831 shit, everything. Love is love, man. Hip hop, slide through.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good one. Slide through.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Kat, can you tell the people where they can get their Slide Through podcast merch?
Absolutely. So y'all gonna go over to the Slide Through Podcast IG, click on that conglomerate by the sea.com link. go onto the left side, that sandwich bar, click on that. Click on the Slide Through Podcast clothing. Then you're going to scroll down to that image where you see the Slide Through Podcast crew neck. Click on that. And there you go. You see the size is small through 2X.